20 years ago, the Maker prevented a radioactive spider from biting a young Peter Parker. He likewise prevented the creation of any other superheroes and formed the Secret Council to rule the world from the shadows. When Tony Stark learned the dark history of his universe, he sought to undo it, prompting the Maker's Council to attack Manhattan, killing thousands and framed Stark for it. Peter Parker has always lived his life unaware of the Maker's Council or the truth behind the spider. But that is about to change. Hey everyone, welcome to Comixplained. Today we're going to discuss the Ultimate Spider-Man issue number 1. It is the month of January in New York. The story begins with Peter Parker, who seems tired and has just woken up and is getting ready to go to work. In this universe, Peter is 35 years old. He is married to MJ and they have 2 kids together who are sitting in the kitchen, a daughter named May and a son named Richard. Peter looks exhausted. After having his coffee, he leaves for work. He is working at Daily Bugle, and just like any other Spidey universe, John Jonah Jameson is the boss at Daily Bugle. Interestingly, Ben Parker is the managing editor at Daily Bugle. A little chit-chat and argument happen in the room where we see Ben Parker, Jonah and Peter. Ben Parker has a meeting at the office at 4 o'clock, but before that, he's gotta go somewhere with Peter Parker. Unlike our usual Jonah, the Jonah here we see in this issue is very nice to Peter. Ben Parker and Peter leave the office. Peter is worried for his Uncle Ben for a reason. He wants to know how his Uncle Ben is doing after Aunt May died. In this universe, Tony Stark is dead, and for some reason he's hated by people. Peter and Harry are not friends, and Harry's parents, Norman Osborn and Emily Osborn, are also dead. Peter meets his wife MJ and kids at the memorial. Then they talk about Osborns before MJ and kids head back home, and Peter returns with Uncle Ben to the Daily Bugle office. The management meeting has already started without Ben Parker. Jonah seems angry for some reason and quits the job. Ben goes to the meeting and is told by Robbie Robertson that there are going to be some editorial restructuring at Daily Bugle because the advertisers are not happy how the Daily Bugle is handling the Tony Stark terror attack situation. Ben Parker does not seem to care. We see that Mr. Fisk, who's Kingpin in Spiderman comics, offers Ben Parker to be the new boss at Daily Bugle. And in return, Ben would have to work for Mr. Fisk. If not, he would get fired. Like Jonah, Ben quits the job and leaves with him. Later that night, Kingpin and his team get attacked by what seems to be Green Goblin. But how does he exist if Norman Osborn is dead? Or is it Harry Osborn? We will know about that in the future issues in this comics. After quitting their jobs, Jonah and Ben Parker are sitting at a bar talking about their future. They want to start their own news business since they are not good at anything else. At first, Jonah was reluctant, but later he agrees even though he thinks it's a dirty business. While they were talking, Peter Parker joins them. He tells Uncle Ben and Jonah that Robbie is now the new boss at Daily Bugle. While Peter decides to stay at Daily Bugle, he wonders what Uncle Ben and Jonah are going to do, and Uncle Ben tells Peter that they're going to start their own news business. Jonah wants Peter to join them. Peter is worried for Uncle Ben for having blown up his whole career. Ben tells him because he's all alone and has no one to take care of, it was an easy choice for him to leave what he calls an industry of compromise. Peter feels bad and tells Uncle Ben that he has a family to take care of, and even though he wishes to follow his Uncle Ben, he cannot join him. And Uncle Ben does not expect Peter to join them. Peter is worried about something else. He feels MJ, his wife, deserves someone better than him. Peter blames himself for things. He thinks something is wrong with his life and he is himself responsible for that. Uncle Ben gives Peter a pep talk, tells him not to spend his life waiting for something to happen but to make it happen. He tells Peter, but if you're walking around half asleep, anesthetized by your own life, then wake up. Ben Parker leaves the bar and Peter returns home. After putting his kids to sleep, Peter and MJ talk. Peter tells MJ how Jonah and Uncle Ben quit Daily Bugle and are now starting their own thing. MJ notices that Peter is worried about something and she asks him what is going on. Peter is reluctant at first, but MJ assures him that she's not going to feel any different about him if he tells her what is going on. Peter says that he needs a change, and MJ thinks he wants to quit Daily Bugle and join Uncle Ben and Jonah. But Peter says he needs to change himself. MJ supports Peter and says if nothing's going to change between them, she's fine with what he has to do to feel satisfied with who he is. She tells him, "Go get him, Tiger." A night before, when Peter Parker was working at home, there was lightning. He sees a box. Someone says, "Peter Parker, this is for Parker." When Peter opens that box, he sees a hologram figure of none other than Tony Stark, aka Iron Man. The hologram Stark speaks with Peter. It tells him who he is. Stark tells Peter that he's sending him that box from 6 months into the future. He tells Peter that the box contains a suit for him and a spider necessary for him to undergo a post-human transformation. Stark explains to Peter that 20 years ago, he was supposed to be bitten by a radioactive spider who would have given him amazing powers, which would have helped him become one of Earth's most prominent superheroes. But that did not happen because a great evil traveled through time and erased all heroes from existence, including Peter Parker. He tells how Peter was supposed to have a different life, how he was supposed to protect the innocent, save lives, and inspire others. And instead, all of that was taken from him. Returning to the present, after having talked to MJ, Peter takes that box and comes outside. He hears a voice saying, "These people stole your future. These people robbed you of your destiny. The question is, do you want it back?" Peter opens that box and remembers what Uncle Ben and MJ told him. He lets the spider bite him and puts on the suit that came with the box and becomes the Spider-Man. And that's it for today's comic review. Let me know in the comments what you think of this new Spider-Man comic series. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more comic adventures.